Dan and I met when we were about 16.
Well, I started plumbing and then a year later Tim started. We started the business in 2003. Tim and myself called it On-the-Job Plumbing. On-the-Job Plumbing specialises in residential, strata and commercial maintenance. On the day of the incident, it wasn't really any different to any other day. We're shooting over to Rose Bay to do a block sewer. Pretty standard really. Worked out the sewer was blocked down in the boundary trap, set up the jetter, the camera and got to work. It's probably after about 10 or 15 minutes of pulling some wipes out of the line. I put a penetrating nozzle back on and was trying to get through the blockage. Nozzle did a 180-degree turn on itself in the pipe. It came straight back up the drain I was jetting down, and that's when it struck me across, it came straight through the side of my face here and lodged itself into my nose.
I got a phone call from his number and a girl answered, so I knew there was something amiss, and then he jumped on the phone and said, "I think my eye's gone."
The surgeon described my accident as the most damage he has ever seen in an eye socket in over 30 years. My wife, whilst waiting for me to find out actually what had happened in emergency, was faced with one of the head nurses telling her that my face is a puzzle and we're just working out how to put the pieces back together. Look, on-the-job plumbing is really important to me. It's sort of been everything part of my life. Like I don't have anything else work-wise to turn to, and you know, everyone I see as mates.
He's the smartest plumber I know, you know what I mean? So his impact is to help these guys learn.
My team members played a huge role directly after my accident. Knowing that they'd all pulled together, stepped up to such a sudden change, made me feel like, you know, they had my back and really made me able to concentrate on what was good for me right then, and that was concentrate on getting better. It was amazing the amount of messages, calls and visits I got from other plumbers. However, since my accident and sharing my story, it's become pretty scary how many stories are coming out of the woodworks about, you know, near misses and cut legs and cut sides of the face. All these stories we don't hear, and you know, people don't share them, and I think that's really what can come from this short video, is sharing our stories so that everyone knows the risks. I think it was important to start working with a team again because I'd sort of been distant for so long, or not so long, but you know, in my eyes, I just wanted to get back to normality and I suppose get into the mode of, you know, what was before, and that was sort of working together as a team and helping each other out. About on the second night in hospital, I was lying there and I just had this idea of a safety product to stop the hose from exiting the drain. I was having trouble sleeping. I just kept ticking over in my head, you know, like I wouldn't want this to happen to anyone else. So I started drawing, I started talking to people, how can we make this happen? Since then, I've designed and finished manufacturing a safety device, which is basically a plate that will prevent the hose from coming back out of the drain. I really feel if I can just stop one person from getting injured, my duty is done. If I could tell a young plumber one thing, it would be to stick with the trade, pay attention, and don't be afraid to speak up if you think you have a safer, better way of carrying out a task. If you get that feeling that something isn't quite right, or you should be doing something a different way, stop and take that extra 10 seconds, think about what you're doing, because that could very well save your life. Look, I really learnt that anything can happen in any given day. You just don't know what is around the corner. Also found it's important to find out what inspires you and motivates you. For me, this was my family and getting back into CrossFit. I'm not about to say this has been easy. Every day I've been faced with a different challenge and situation that I have to navigate. Yes, I lost an eye. Yes, the injury was bad, but I'm still the fun dad that I always was before. I feel that, you know, whatever happens, you got to continue to look forward, even if it is only with one eye. I knew I wouldn't be able to go to work the next day. I knew I wouldn't be able to pick my daughter up from gym that night. I knew my face was never going to look the same again. Most importantly, I knew I needed to show everyone how positive and strong I was, especially my kids. I need to show them that even if you take a hit, you've got to get back up and keep going. Don't look back.